Relationships play a powerful role in shaping our emotional well being, identity, and happiness. Whether in friendships, family connections, workplaces, marriages, or social circles, healthy boundaries are essential for maintaining respect, trust, and personal growth. Across cultures and countries, people often struggle to say no, express their needs, or protect their emotional space because they fear rejection, conflict, or disappointing others. However, setting boundaries does not mean becoming selfish or distant. Instead, it means understanding your values, respecting yourself, and creating relationships built on honesty, balance, and mutual respect. The global dialogue explores important questions and answers about setting boundaries while staying true to yourself, along with real world examples that connect these lessons to everyday life. This is Fazal Qasim, the CEO, Global Dialogue Series, Palix Educational Complex, and the proud trainee of Rehan AI School. So we are going to have discussion with Chatgpt. Hi.
Hey there. Great to have you here. How can I help you today?
Today we are going to have discussion
That sounds great. What topic do you have in mind for our discussion? I'm ready to dive into anything you're curious about.
about healthy boundaries in relationships.
Ah, perfect. That's such an important topic. We can explore things like what boundaries are, how to recognize when yours are being crossed, and practical ways to communicate them. Is the aspect you'd like to start with, or something specific you're dealing with?
First question is, what are healthy boundaries in relationships?
Ah, great place to start. Healthy boundaries are basically the limits you set for yourself about how you want to be treated and what you're comfortable with. They protect your emotional, mental, and physical well being. For example, if you value alone time, a healthy boundary might be saying no to plans on certain evenings. It's all about knowing your needs and expressing them respectfully.
Right. Okay. And why are boundaries important?
Boundaries are crucial because they help you preserve your sense of self, prevent burnout, and ensure that relationships stay balanced and respectful. When you have boundaries, you're able to communicate what you need without resentment building up. They protect you from emotional or physical exhaustion and allow you to show up more authentically in all kinds of relationships.
Why do many people struggle to set boundaries?
A lot of people struggle because they worry about disappointing others, fearing rejection, or feeling guilty for saying no. Especially in cultures that emphasize collectivism, people may feel pressure to always say yes. It's also a skill that takes practice, so many just haven't been taught how to do it effectively.
Right. And how can someone say no politely?
A great way is to be kind but clear. For instance, you might say, I really appreciate you thinking of me, but I can't take that on right now. You can also give a brief reason if you feel comfortable, like needing time for yourself or having prior commitments.
Right. And what is emotional boundary setting?
Emotional boundary setting is all about protecting your feelings and emotional energy. It means being aware of what triggers you and not letting others push you into emotional exhaustion or take advantage of your kindness. For example, if a friend constantly vents without reciprocating support, you might set a boundary by saying, I'm here for you, but I also need some balance and support in return.
Wonderful. Okay. How do boundaries improve friendships?
Boundaries actually strengthen friendships by creating clarity and trust. When both friends know each other's limits, there's less chance of resentment or misunderstandings. For example, if one friend sets a boundary around needing alone time, the other friend can respect it and the friendship stays balanced and healthy.
Great. And can boundaries strengthen family relationships?
Absolutely. Healthy boundaries in families reduce resentment and create a space for open communication. For instance, if a sibling sets a boundary around discussing personal finances, it can prevent awkwardness or conflict, allowing the family to maintain respect and closeness.
Okay, wonderful. And how can social media affect personal boundaries?
Social media can really blur boundaries because it can so easy to overshare or feel pressure to respond immediately. For example, someone might feel obligated to share every detail of their life or constantly compare themselves to others.
Hmm,
Setting boundaries might mean limiting your screen time or deciding not to engage with certain topics online.
great. And what are workplace boundaries?
Workplace boundaries are the professional limits you set to protect your time, energy, and work life balance. For instance, it might mean not answering emails after hours or setting expectations about how many tasks you can handle in a day. These boundaries help you stay focused and avoid burnout.
Okay, so they are professional limits that protect work life balance, respect, and mental health.
Exactly. And by maintaining those boundaries, you avoid overextending yourself, reduce stress, and create a healthier dynamic with colleagues. It's all about balancing professional responsibilities with personal well being.
Okay, and how can boundaries help mental health?
Boundaries are really protective for mental health because they prevent you from feeling overwhelmed, taken advantage of, or drained. When you set limits, whether it's in personal life or at work, you give yourself space to rest, reflect, and recharge, which reduces anxiety and improves your overall sense of well being.
Okay, so boundaries reduce anxiety, emotional exhaustion, and stress while improving self respect.
Exactly. When you have clear boundaries, you feel more in control of your life. You can respond to situations from a calm place, knowing you're protecting your needs. So you end up feeling more balanced, empowered, and respected by yourself and others.
Okay, and what happens when boundaries are ignored?
When boundaries are ignored, it can lead to resentment, emotional exhaustion, and even burnout. You might start feeling taken advantage of, lose trust in others, or become disconnected from your own needs. That's why it's so important to enforce them, even when it feels uncomfortable at first.
Okay, so ignoring boundaries can lead to resentment, stress, toxic relationships, and emotional burnout, isn't it?
Exactly. That's the core of it. When boundaries get overlooked, it's like a slow erosion of trust and well being. So, by standing firm, you actually protect both yourself and the long term health of the relationship.
Right. How can someone stay true to themselves in relationships?
Staying true to yourself means being honest about your values, needs, and boundaries, even if it's uncomfortable. It's about not losing your identity to fit someone else's expectations. For example, if a friend wants you to join an activity you dislike, staying true might mean politely declining, but suggesting something you both enjoy.
Okay. Is it selfish to prioritize your own well being?
Not at all. Prioritizing your well being is actually a vital part of being able to give your best to others. When you take care of yourself, you have more energy, clarity, and compassion to share in your relationships. So it's a win win.
Right. How can communication improve boundary setting?
Clear communication is key because it helps others understand what you need and why. When you express your boundaries calmly and directly, it reduces misunderstandings and gives people a chance to respect your limits.
Okay, right. So, clear, respectful communication prevents misunderstandings and builds trust.
Exactly. When you communicate openly, you create a safe space where both people know where they stand. This trust allows for more honest, fulfilling relationships because everyone feels seen and heard.
Okay. What is the biggest lesson about boundaries and self respect?
The biggest lesson is that healthy boundaries are a form of self respect. They remind you that you're worthy of care, that your needs matter, and that you deserve relationships where you can be yourself. When you honor those boundaries, you honor yourself.
Great. So, healthy relationships should never require losing your identity, dignity, or peace of mind.
Exactly. True relationships should uplift you, not diminish you. When you set boundaries and stay true to yourself, you create space for a deeper, more authentic connection, one where both people feel valued and free to be themselves.
Okay, great. Okay, ChatGPT, we are going to wind it up, conclude it with the remarks. Dear viewers, across the world, one truth remains universal. Healthy boundaries are the foundation of healthy relationships. They allow people to protect their peace, express their needs, and live authentically without fear or guilt. Setting boundaries does not weaken relationships, it strengthens them by creating honesty, respect, emotional balance, and trust. In a world filled with social pressure, digital distractions, and emotional challenges, staying true to yourself is one of the greatest forms of courage. When individuals learn to value themselves, communicate openly, and respect both their own limits and the limits of others, they build relationships that are healthier, happier, and more meaningful. True relationships do not demand that you lose yourself. They encourage you to become your best self. Thanks a lot, ChatGPT, and thanks a lot, dear viewers. We are going to meet in the next episode. Bye for now, and ChatGPT, bye.
You're very welcome, and thank you so much, dear viewers, for joining us. I hope these insights help you build stronger, more authentic relationships. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Take care. Okay.